How ironic that I'm starting this video while I walk in to play a session at MGM for status purposes, but this video is about my Caesar status. So I went to Reno. Part of the reason I went on the dates I went was because there was a 10x multiplier going on. Last time I heard, it was still applying to poker out there. So let's go to the slides and the math and the voiceovers and everything like that to show you what should or could have happened or might have happened or I was waiting to possibly happen, things like that, and then I'll come back and say more things. Okay, August 27th, like before I played even one hand in Reno, I had 5,667 tier credits on the year. Okay. After playing at Silver Legacy, a Caesars property, with poker in Reno on August 27th, went into my account, and this is what it looked like. So I had 5,919 tier credits. So how many more is that than I had to start that day, August 27th? It's about 252 more. Well, it's exactly 252 more. And you earn 34 tier credits per hour playing poker in Silver Legacy in Reno. So that meant I played about 7.4 hours. Does that make sense? Yeah. I actually had 6.9 hours for my record. That was my first day in town. That was the only place I played. I guess I wasn't getting clocked out while I was like taking a walk for a few minutes every so often. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's get rid of the math. After my next session, my next day, my second day in Reno, 5,980 tier credits. That is an additional 61 tier credits. Divide by 34, we get 34 per hour. That means I played about 1.8 hours on day 2. Does that make sense? Yes. I played there a little before I went down to Peppermill, played Peppermill, and then I went to Atlantis. And then when I went back, I didn't play anymore that night in Silver Legacy. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's get rid of the math and go to after day 3. I had this 6,053 tier credits. That is an additional 73. Divide that by 34. And how many hours? Does this make sense? Yeah, this was day 3 in Reno. I played, I explored campus, and then I played about 2 hours in Silver Legacy before I went and played Grand Sierra. So yeah, all these numbers make sense. And one more snapshot to show you. That was August 29th. And here on September 6th in the afternoon, I had about 6,142 tier credits. So I got a few extra tier credits. Those didn't come from the multiplier, though. That was because of the hotel stay. So I stayed in Circus, a Caesars property, and these additional 89 tier credits I got about a week later was because, you know, my reservation ended, became official, and you get 1 tier credit for every $1 spent on the hotel room. The total cost was more than $89, but I spent $89 according to them on the hotel room. The rest of the money I paid for the lodging was taxes. But you get 1 tier credit for every $1 spent on the hotel room. So that's why I got this extra 89. So that makes sense. Nothing unusual yet. But let me open this chart. If the 10x multiplier applied to poker, what should I have been waiting on? So here's this chart. And I played about 11.3 hours of poker in Reno in Silver Legacy. You get the 1x as you play, just like normal. So multiply that by 34, which is normal for Silver Legacy, and I earned about 384 tier credits when I was there playing that final week in August. Now, instead of multiplying by 34, let's multiply by 34 and then multiply by 10. That's 3,840. If the multiplier applied to poker, I stood to get 3,840 for my play in Silver Legacy. But subtract those two numbers because you get the 1x as you're playing and you get the rest later. So 3,840 minus 384. I was waiting on 3,456 if the multiplier applied to poker, and turns out it didn't, and I never got those 3,456 extra tier credits. All right, so I did get like a couple hundred tier credits. I don't really know where they came from. Maybe a hotel stay I forgot about when I first moved to the new address. On my days off, I was staying on the strip just because the rates were cheap and I like living on the strip. But no, I should have had like over 3,000. If the multiplier applied, the 10x multiplier, you get 1x the day of and 9x more later after the promo is done. I should have gotten like over 3,000, like 3,500 tier credits hitting my account. Nothing close to that. There are like 200 I can't account for, so no. just not applying to poker anymore anywhere that I know of. I know a viewer told me, I think it was 2 years ago, it was still applying in Reno. I think right when it stopped in either Vegas or Council Bluffs. I mentioned in a video and a viewer told me still in Reno, but that was a while ago. So it just looks like no, they've gotten rid of it. So yeah, what does that mean for my status? It's really unlikely that I get it next year, that I get Diamond. I've been Diamond since 2017, and it just looks like I'm gonna be one level lower, which I think is Platinum. So Platinum still gets me free parking. That's still really important to me. So that's good. Not gonna be able to have hotel stays at Caesars properties with waived resort fees. So yeah, I would like to have that, but it doesn't matter, as that perk doesn't mean as much to me when I have a permanent address. So like, it really actually was quite the hassle. The last time on my days off, I stayed on the Strip. I stayed in Bally's. Like, as I was leaving the address, I almost just went back into my room and canceled the reservation. Because I was like bringing so much stuff and it was just annoying, and it's like 2 days, like what's the difference? So yeah, I could very well not need to make a Caesars reservation in the calendar year 2026, or as long as I'm living at the address. And if for any reason I stop dealing, then I'm on the road again, and then it's not that difficult to get it. If yeah, probably plan on playing like a few weeks in Council Bluffs and like 1 to 2 months in Baltimore and get it just like that, just from poker and nothing else. So yeah, it's odd, it's difficult to get while I'm dealing now, and so much of my time is spent dealing, but that perk doesn't mean as much, and it's not so important that I get it. So it just looks like next year I am just gonna have free parking at Caesars properties, but no waived resort fees, although it still does look like I will get my MGM Gold status next year. You only need Pearl, which is 1 level below Gold, for free parking. Gold has that perk also, of course, and waived resort fees. So if I ever really want to stay on the Strip for some reason, Excalibur is my go-to MGM property. Not quite as cheap as the Caesars rates. I've stayed at Rio back in the day. I think my lowest ever was $6 per night, but you often see like $8, $10, $15, $20 nights. The cheapest I ever see in Excalibur is like 24, and often like 35. So it's still better than having no option on the Strip. But yeah, ultimately just the Reno thing didn't apply. Still enjoyed my trip there, and don't really need to do anything else Caesars related. Have my free parking, not going to get the waived resort fees next year. And remember, rice is a spoon food.